Welcome and thank you for joining us today. We have an update for the People's Convoy and the Freedom Convoy. You are fighting the fight, an honorable fight, to restrain from continued government overreach. Frankly, we've had it pretty easy so far, but it's going to get tough in Hagerstown as we leave. We're going to be rolling to the state capitals, but don't forget your brothers to the north. Wouldn't we have a greater impact if we coordinated our convoys? Rolled through some border towns, talked to the mayors, let the locals express how frustrating it is not to be able to cross the border to see friends and family that work just on the other side. What about having convoys on both sides of the border, shadowing each other as we move across the countries, perhaps from east to west? And then each acting locally, maybe spawning flash convoys that start at a border town and move towards a state capital or parliaments in the provinces. How about some coordinated efforts and have appointments on the way as you drive through the various districts? How about talking to the local offices in the county seat? There are many ways we can do this, but there's only one way to win: to have our message heard, to continue to have people support us. First, we can't not fall into their traps, painting us in a negative light, divided amongst ourselves for simple things like not obeying simple bylaws and things that jurisdictions can use to shut down or halt or paint in a bad light the good that we're all trying to do. Is there a way we can organize that gets our message out simply by rolling together on both sides of the border, asking for a specific action, and asking each of those we meet to take up that cause? Not for us, but for their constituents. The trade lobbies, they have constituents. The mayors of the small town have constituents. The representatives in each district have constituents. The MPs and MPMs have constituents. Let's talk to them. What can they do as an individual? What we need to talk about is the cross-border aspect. It's sort of the last vestige of an international or bilateral agreement. We cannot solve in the U.S. any border issue unless we solve it in Canada simultaneously. They have a bilateral agreement for border crossings, and so the restrictions will be the same or relatively the same.
As
So let's see if we can get the Freedom Convoy and the People's Convoy to coordinate locally. Perhaps in those border towns is a great place to organize. Have dates or times where you roll from those border towns into the capitals. Let's make our voices heard. It's hard. It is really hard. You know it. But as you begin to separate from Hagerstown, don't let the passion wane. It will be so easy. All that energy will kind of drain from you at first. But you'll recharge locally, and you'll have a lot of passion if you know that you're being shadowed and that your movement, your call for liberties and freedoms and a return to the constitutions of both countries will help you stay invigorated and help the convoy to continue its fight. If there's anything you need, it's for everyone to have a role. But the message has to be unified. Let's focus on something that binds us. Let's focus on the border crossings, the mass mandates on the airplanes, the quarantine coming across the different countries when you cross the border. Let's pick that as our fight. That requires no legislative action. That requires just the political will to end the tyranny. Let's work together, coordinate together, and act individually. Thank you for allowing us to speak with you. This is the Contemplative Citizen saying good night until our next discussion.